O Kojima-san, Novorate Lorgane, Amen. Oh, could you? Hello, everyone. This is Hack the Dino Gaming Cast, where we bring you all the latest hymns dedicated to our Lord and Savior, Hideo Kojima.
Oh, I thought you were trying to raise a demon.
Well, same thing. I'm Ben Rosenthal, 1/3 of the Hack the Dino team here at the Gaming Cast, where we bring you the news, previews, and all the gaming things that you like. Apart from my singing, I'm very sorry for that. It won't happen again. That's a lie. I'm going to sing right now. Ba 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 da 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 ba. That's not singing. Floppy,
Yes, mate.
sing us a song.
Hey, how you doing? Sorry you can't get through. Why don't you leave your name? Wait, hang on. Do we get copyright for that?
Probably. Here's another one for you. Hit from the 90s.
Okay.
Informer, man,
I like
boom 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 down. There we go.
Oh, Snow, the whitest rapper ever.
Yeah, that was from the 90s. What else is from the 90s?
A whole bunch of games that were like games of the year.
Yeah.
For each year
Yep.
of the 90s, which creates a decade.
Correct. Anto,
Hello.
what would you say was the best about the 90s?
Definitely Jim Carrey's cover of Informer, Imposter from Saturday Night Live.
You know what? No, that
Wait, no,
wasn't
it was in
Saturday
Living
Night
Colour.
Live. That was in Living Colour,
There
and
we
that was
go.
amazing, and I had forgotten about that until that second.
Yeah. If you're asking me about best video game, however,
yes.
definitely FF7.
Oh, for fun. Floppy.
Metal Gear.
Oh. For me, it was a game that Anto reliably tells me was not Game of the Year, even though it should have been. Chrono Trigger, I think, was really deserving to be a Game of the Year, and I'm quite upset that it wasn't.
Well, I wonder how many of us are going to be correct in picking our games of the year.
Well, it doesn't matter. We're going to find out very, very shortly. But before that, Floppy,
Yes.
have you been out recently into the world?
No, I try not to.
No? No, same, because, people. But I just want to know, what's the latest pickup that you've got that you think is a bargain? But I'm talking about genuine bargains.
A
genuine bargain.
I wish you'd asked me beforehand, actually.
Well, I would have had I not been
Actually,
struggling to string words into a sentence that could
was-
somehow elongate this segment.
A genuine bargain was a copy of Metroid Prime on the GameCube.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How much did you pay for that?
Zip.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
I will put it out there as an NTSC copy.
Oh, so you need to chip your GameCube.
I have an action replay.
Oh, well, that's even better. Freeloader or? They're nice. How do they work?
I haven't used it yet. I'll let you know.
I can
Okay.
tell you.
How do they work, Anto?
You put the freeloader or action replay disc in.
Yep.
There's an option in the menu for that software to let you change the region for what's about to play. You then pop the lid open without powering the system off, and you put the disc in that you want to play, and it boots up.
That's cool.
There you go.
Because I've got the Mega Man Legacy Collection on GameCube, and I've never played it because I suck at Mega Man games.
I think
You
everyone
will,
sucks
however,
at Mega Man
need a
games.
spare memory card, I think, because the way save games work is different.
Right. Okay. So, screw it, let's start. Anto,
Hello.
there was a thing that was released lately.
Oh, are we getting to talk about Masahiro Sakurai-san's new YouTube channel?
It's like you read my mind.
Or the run sheet.
One of the two.
Sakurai, the genius creator and all-round talented super developer from Sora Inc. or Sora Limited.
Sorry. Masahiro
Masahiro Sakurai.
Yeah, he was the one who hooked himself up to an IV so he could keep working on Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Yes, that guy.
I feel like that's not a good representation of what you should do.
No, but do you know what is a good representation of what you should do?
What?
So Sakurai and his wife own a company.
Mm.
And what Nintendo do is that they hire Sakurai's company to develop the games. Sakurai doesn't actually work for Nintendo.
Huh.
So he gets a fat paycheck.
He's
super big.
He's got it set up exactly as you need it to. He's playing smart.
Yeah, mate. Up here for thinking, down there for dancing.
Yeah, that.
What?
Or smashing.
Yep.
Down there for smashing.
is more appropriate in both contexts, I guess.
Is it really?
It's totally.
Okay.
Anyway, tell us about this YouTube site.
So he's created a YouTube channel. The exact name of which escapes me, but it's called the Creating Games channel.
Yes.
Masahiro Sakurai on creating games. He's effectively doing it completely off the cuff, like wants to do it for educational purposes. He's not enabling ads or seeking sponsorships or anything like that. He doesn't want to make money from this.
Because he's rich.
He just flat out wants to help people across the industry, whether they're beginners, indie developers, even potentially AAA devs, make their games more fun.
I know how Sakurai can help us. He can come on our show.
For free.
Yeah. Whenever
Yeah.
you want Sakurai, come on over. We'll sit down. We'll have some pizza. That'd be
Not
nice.
kidding. I would be so down if by some chance he saw this, reached out and was like, yeah, I'll come on the show. And I'd
Yeah,
be like,
I'm
oh
sure.
my God.
Sakurai's like him and Kojima are in Japan now. Just sit down
absolutely.
watching this stream.
Absolutely.
Hi, Kojima-san and Sakurai-san. Hello. Thanks for your patronage.
But yeah, that's the crux of it. Is he wants to help people across the industry make video games more fun, or give people who maybe aren't going to get into game development and just like playing video games, like, you know, as more than a casual pastime, an inside look, so they have a better understanding of why things are the way they are and have a new appreciation for it. And I think that's genius. It's a really cool idea.
So what are the topics he's covered thus far in his 3 videos that he's
So
put up?
far, he's done, I think it's just like a general overview of his career, like the games he's created. He's done one on the history and creation of Kirby, because he's responsible for making Kirby.
That's cool.
And the one I found the most interesting, which I did watch fully, was Hit Stop. It's about when to use Hit Stop and how. And Hit Stop is a term he coined, which is the best example I can use off the top of my head is in Smash Brothers Ultimate, when someone is about to get a KO and someone loses a stock, and it's the very end of a match. The game pauses and there are big pops and sound effects, and it zooms in on the characters that are interacting to emphasize what's happening on screen and give you like that sense of impact. And he talks for a good maybe 5-6 minutes about how and when to use this and why, and people should be doing more of it in his opinion because it makes things more engaging. Cool. It's just a really fun way of presenting. It's good fun.
So you got the URL for that?
I can find it. It's not
What's
here.
the name of the channel?
I'd like to point out in the chat, Dylan the Villain has just replied that Kojima is probably watching and going, who the hell are these bozos?
No, I wouldn't, because there's no Japanese word for bozos. So,
Or the Japanese equivalent of.
Gai Kokojin.
Here we go. Stop for big moments.
There he is. Look at him.
This is him.
Is he like 12?
Yeah, I
He's
know.
nearly 60.
Yeah.
What?
I know, right?
That guy's older than me.
Yeah.
Why do I look like his grandfather? Oh,
'Cause-
man, that is not fair.
They're just built different in Japan.
Yeah, to never age.
Yeah, Creating Games by Sakurai. You should all check it out. Something else you might want to check out when it is eventually announced and not leaked illegally is the new Avatar game. Now, I'm not talking about the Avatar game that is coming out.
James Cameron's Avatar.
Yeah, none of that rubbish. The actual Avatar.
Rubbish.
It is rubbish.
No.
Unobtainium. Oh, look, it's Pandora in space.
Yeah.
So, the actual good Avatar series, I'm talking about Airbender,
Excellent series.
Legend of Korra, all that sort of stuff. Listings appeared on Amazon for a November release. Apparently, this Avatar game takes some cues from Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The game is set after the events of the original series and has members of the Order of White Lotus recounting old war stories, which essentially covers the entire original Avatar series.
So do you play through them like flashbacks?
Yes.
Cool.
However,
Yep.
some of their retellings are reportedly not accurate, and some levels will be an alternate history version of what happened.
Like they're making shit up.
Yeah,
Like in real history.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and almost like a what if as well.
Yeah, cool. I like that.
So you will get to play as all your favourites and jump around in between. I can't wait to play Toph, because Toph is freaking awesome.
Not as cool as Aang.
And, you know, Avatar, Legend of Aang is my favourite TV show of all time.
My name's Tough because it sounds like tough.
That's the play, isn't it?
Huh?
The third to last.
Yeah, that's the Ember Island players.
Yep. And, oh, man, Toph is such a great character. Oh, man, what a freaking legend.
There are no other shows where a teenage blind girl who wins 99% of her fights from this sort of time period, like we're talking the 2000s, like There were no other shows that had a female lead character be as badass as she was without it being considered like non-inclusive or something. I don't know. People complained about it. People complain about it in general, like now when women are given roles like that, and it's stupid because they're always cool.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like,
All of my favourite shows pretty much have female leads.
yeah,
Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Sailor
show.
Moon.
great show.
Yeah, Avatar, as I said, like Katara as well, very strong leader.
Katara's like the strongest waterbender in the show.
Yeah. All right, so here's going off on a tangent a little bit.
That's fine. We do tangents.
They taste nice. What I tend to say to people who complain about, not having male straight protagonists is like, yeah, we've had male straight protagonist stories for, 300 years.
Forever.
Kind of
All
bored
of
of them
human
now.
history.
Like, yeah, give us something different. Give us something different. Tell different stories from different cultures, from different point of views. That's what I'm all about. And if you're not about that, then maybe have a little bit of a look at it yourself.
No, just leave. Like, if you're not into that kind of stuff, leave. We don't want you here.
So, did you say leave life? Because,
No, not leave life. Just leave us alone.
Not wrong. Floppy,
Yes, mate.
you did something a couple of shows back, didn't you?
I did. So a few shows ago, we did a Game of the Year Through the Decades 80s edition.
Yeah, and it was great. We had like lots of neon lights,
We had
DeLoreans.
We had a Marty McFly vest. I don't know if you've noticed today, but I've gone with my original 90s Quicksilver hoodie.
Freaking 90s, man.
Which hats off to my mate Mark Watts. This is like a 5th generation hand-me-down that's came through his family, and then I got it. Bought from the 90s. Or maybe 4th generation hand-me-down.
How are you going through 4 generations in the 90s?
No, like through 4 members of his family. So 4 generations, we'll say.
No, that's not generations.
He went through 4 different generations of people. Like grandfather,
How long's a
father,
generation?
Shut up, Ben.
I mean, we could use the argument, how long is a generation for Pokemon games as well, I guess.
Okay, let's go with Pokemon rules.
All
All right.
Went through like 5. It was a
4 years.
Yeah. Glad you chose that part to really focus in on.
Well,
Today we're doing Game of the Year Through the Decades, the 90s edition.
if there's anything I am, it's factual all the time.
There's another F word I could think of too. Yes, the Game of the Year Through the Decades, the 90s edition. Now, we're going to take these in turns with me and Ben. Ben doesn't know what I've been through.
No, you specifically sent me a message and said, can you just not look at my section?
Yeah.
And I went, okay, sure, I'm up for that. And what we did on the desk here, for those of you listening on the podcast, I've chosen the games that I think that I owned, that I think may be Game of the Year at some point in the 90s. So we're going to see how I went. Yeah, so obviously the clear winner is Superman 64 for the Nintendo 64, Game of the Year in 1999 when it came out. Easily beat anything that was... What else came out in 99?
Metal Gear Solid.
Nah, this is better. Metal Gear.
Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Final Fantasy VIII.
Final Fantasy VIII.
Well, 2 out of 3.
So I will also throw out there that there has never been a definitive Game of the Year list. There is many different lists, many different places do their own. So I kind of cherry-picked from a bunch of different sources. So it's Floppy's Game of the Year, Decades, 90s edition. But from actual games that won different Games of the Year. So, starting off with 1990, we have Super Mario World.
That's a tick for me. There we go.
Well
there
done.
it is.
I also had the cart down there as well.
Possibly the greatest Mario game.
So this came out on the SNES. We get to take control of Mario or Luigi, notice the spelling, and rescue Princess Toadstool in Dinosaur Land from Bowser and the Koopalings. This game introduced Yoshi. Best-selling SNES game ever.
Yep, because it came as a pack-in as well.
And Miyamoto's favourite Mario game.
Well, it's a lot of people's favourite Mario game. So Super Mario Brothers is my favourite Mario game purely for nostalgia reasons. As I've said numerous times on this show, it was the very first game I ever played and got me into gaming.
But
so
if you're not talking about...
If I'm not talking about that, it's either this or Mario 3 or Mario 64.
So, yeah,
Mario
I've
Galaxy.
actually played this one, and I only learned recently, as in this year, that Mario punches Yoshi in the back of the head to make him eat stuff.
Isn't that awful?
It is horrible.
It's absolutely awful. Is it a saddle or is it a shell on his back?
I think it's a shell.
It's a saddle.
Is it?
Yep.
Wow, that's
He
brutal.
saddled him.
There you go.
So, yeah, and he's one of the occupants of Dinosaur Land.
Yep.
Such a great-looking, crisp game, though, isn't it?
It is. Great. So that was 1990, was it?
That was
I did just want
1990.
to quickly throw out there as well. The video that was linked originally was the NES demake of this game, so I had to find the actual Super
All
Nintendo
right, cool.
version.
Thanks, I didn't know that.
Have you played this game?
Yeah.
When?
A long time ago. A very
was-
long time ago.
This was on the list of me telling you should play this game because it's one of the best ever made.
And I bought it.
But you haven't played it.
I got a lot of games to play. I'm playing Ocarina. Shut up.
This is also on the Super Nintendo Mini as well.
Good.
And online.
Online thing for
Is it on Switch,
Switch.
Online?
Yes.
pretty sure.
Yep.
Cool.
So you should jump on there and grab it.
Yeah.
All right.
next one. So next one is Benzine. Doesn't know what it is.
I don't know what it is. We're going for 1991. What do you
a
think it
guess.
is, Anto?
Huh?
1991, Game of the Year.
I know what it is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's read the list. What
Oh,
do you
okay.
think it might be?
I have no idea. Tony Hawk. Let's have a look. Hey, Street Fighter 2 for the arcade.
Hawk in 1991.
I'm not very good with dates.
Years? Decades?
So, Anto and I were having an argument before about the best arcade port of Street Fighter 2. Mine is the I've forgotten the name of it. That one.
PC Engine.
PC Engine, thank you. The PC Engine port of Street Fighter 2. It's of Champion Edition. It runs smooth as anything just because of the extra power in the PC Engine. It comes as this awesome little HU card, which we can see there if you're looking on YouTube.
Is that the same kind of thing as was it a Master System
Yeah,
card?
it's a Hue card.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. Only available in Japan, I believe, the PC Engine.
PC Engine was Japan only.
Yeah.
Dan's
I
got
think
one.
some of their games did come out later on like different systems and ported across to other hardware, but I don't think it ever actually made a debut in outside of Japan as the PC Engine.
Yep. So then I also got this because I collect Street Fighter games because I've got a problem. I'd have there the Street Fighter 2 Special Champion Edition for the Genesis. There you go.
Or Mega Drive if you're not American.
And I have almost every other Street Fighter game in there as well as an arcade cabinet with almost every single Street Fighter game arcade board.
So tell us about Street Fighter 2 and why it was Game of the Year this year. 1991.
So Street Fighter 2 pretty much brought back arcades from the dead. They were dying a slow death. Street Fighter came along and just was an absolute cultural phenomenon. It is responsible for some of the most iconic characters you'll ever come across. For example, Ryu is it is pretty much the reason why I decided to start training karate. Because at this stage he was doing Shotokan karate.
Which is what you learned.
Which is the style that I do. I haven't learned how to throw fireballs yet, but one day.
Eat on real spicy food.
Oh, right. That's where I've been going wrong.
Yeah, you don't like spice.
No, I don't. I like peppers a bit too much
Bland.
for me. Yeah. Yeah, just an amazing game. It had a great backstory. There hadn't been player versus player games before, at least fighting games, and it was just an absolute phenomenon, which is why there were so many different copies of it came out. Anto, what do you think of Street Fighter 2?
I think Street Fighter 2 is probably the most important multiplayer game for home consoles ever made. At least for this generation. It's probably, GoldenEye could be argued for 4-player games, potentially. But like you were saying about how, this brought back arcades, this was the game when I was growing up where you'd go to someone's house and they'd have a copy of this for some version of video game system, and everyone would play it. I don't know. Street Fighter's not like... It's hard to explain without people who grew up playing it, because, these versions of it are clunky comparatively to Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 5, 6 when it comes out next year. But as clunky and weird as it looks now, like at the time, this was the fastest paced, like 1 versus 1 multiplayer game you could
Especially Turbo on the Super Nintendo. Turbo had a trick where you could beef it up to 10-star speed as opposed to like 5-star speed being the maximum.
No, please.
That's how I used to play it.
No,
Hang on,
please.
Let me find some footage to show that off. Hang on.
Street Fighter 2 was the first Street Fighter game I played, but I didn't play it in an arcade. I played it on my dad's PC.
Oh, that's right. I remember this
It
story.
was the hardest thing ever because you use a keyboard.
Yep.
And so I would play it with my mate, and we'd have to share the keyboard. One of you was using the directional keys, and the other one was using WASD and still using like a space and a tap, and you were trying to get 4 hands onto a keyboard to play. It was the hardest thing ever.
Yeah, see, I used to go to the local skate line, which was an indoor skate center, and we'd go in for a 2 or 3 hour lock-in session, and I would just put the skates on, so I was tall enough to be able to reach the arcade cabinet, and just skate on over to the arcade machine, and sit there playing Street Fighter the whole time, and I swore...
Not skate at all.
No, one day I'm going to own one of these in my house, and... just over there
Is his first pair of skates.
is my first pair of skates. That's right. I kept them. No, I've got my arcade machine over there with Street Fighter on it.
He does. I played it.
Anto?
The footage that's about to go on screen, if anyone was actually paying attention to the Street Fighter 2 gameplay a second ago, this is what the turbo version at 10 stars played like. It's nuts.
Yeah. And you also...
why does it squish their faces?
You could also, on the Super Nintendo as well, get those aftermarket controllers where they had turbo buttons where you could just turn on.
Whoa. No,
Yeah, look at it.
no, please.
Isn't it great? Super fast.
See, oh my gosh, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, anyway, Street Fighter 2.
Look at that. It's Van Damme and Van Damme.
And they just kept experimenting as well. So originally, what was the glitch, Anto, in Street Fighter 2 where it enabled you to combo? Like, combos originally weren't part of it, but in Street Fighter 2...
it was just, they didn't program it in, but a programming or coding error just made it so that certain attacks would link together and you could keep someone from moving, which, you know, totally wasn't planned. And then in every subsequent release, they fine-tuned that. And in some versions of the game, there's a specific frame of animation that if you hit Ryu in, it stuns him immediately, regardless of how many attacks he's taken. So, yeah, it was absolutely like a, what's it called? Like a miracle of design, I guess, is the best way to put it, or something.
Yeah. Hugely influential game. Anyway, all right, should we go to 1992?
1992.
1992.
So this is a game that I played the heck out of.
Right.
It is Wolfenstein 3D.
Can we show this? Because it's technically got Nazis in it.
Yeah, it's fine. There's no insignia.
There might be.
All right, don't
there
show
was
it.
insignias all over the walls.
Don't show it. Don't show it.
So this came out for MS-DOS, like PCs, things like that. It is known as the grandfather of FPS.
The very first-person shooter.
ID Software. Actually, the third Wolfenstein game.
Yes, because the others were...
Like a top-down
Yeah.
sort of stealth-based thing almost.
Yep.
So yeah, it's actually the third Wolfenstein game, the first in first person. It was also popularized the shareware publishing model, which was how so much stuff got done in the early 90s.
I miss shareware so much.
Now, this game was banned in Germany due to the symbols and imagery. Obviously, it had swastikas and Hitler in it. Up until 2019, the ban got lifted, and they went, you know what? It's a part of history, and this is someone's art.
And you kill Hitler in it.
Yeah.
Twice. You kill him, and then at the
Robot
end,
Hitler.
he comes back as Robot Hitler, and you kill him too.
But it was unreal. I still have vivid memories of the sounds of like the secret passages opening, and the Mein Leben.
Yeah, I was about to say, and this sound.
Mein Leben. This was the first shooter that I ever played, and I was obsessed with it. I thought it was amazing. I couldn't get over the fact that I could find secrets, that I could, learning how to tell which walls would be doors, how to conserve ammo.
And it had a percentage thing at the end where whether you'd found all the treasure and found all the secrets, and then you had a secret that you'd find, and then if you pushed another wall within that secret area,
there was
another
secret.
Yeah, it's great.
I loved the textures. Obviously, by today's standards, it's kind of rubbish.
I still love it.
The footage that we've got on now is the Super Nintendo version, which is why it's a little bit more compressed, but also this is the only version without Nazi symbolism and stuff.
You'd notice that Hitler has no moustache.
That Super Nintendo version is a very expensive card as well. I think just the cart goes for almost $100 now.
Nice. One of the other things I loved about this a lot was that you got the little picture of BJ Blazkowicz down in the, we'll call it the item bar. He looks around depending on what's happening, so he's animated, but also as you get hit, he gets bloodier and bloodier. And like more beat up until you die. And
then when you put cheat codes in for God mode, like his eyes glow.
Eyes glow like white and stuff like that.
Yeah, and like when he has the BFG, he has this really sadistic grin on his face. Like, he's going to kill some people.
BFG was doomed, but
on the Super Nintendo version of Wolfenstein 3D, I've got a story about my cart, which doesn't cast me in a very good light, but I'll tell it anyway.
Okay.
Surprise, surprise. So I went into this place that sold games, and it was one of these places where you go in and everything is like $20 more expensive than it should be. So I was sitting there and I saw Wolfenstein 3D on cart in the cabinet. And just below it was a Japanese version in the box of Ocarina of Time. And he had it there for $300, like Ocarina of Time. And I said, can I just have a look at Wolfenstein? So I was just checking out the label and everything. I said, if you don't mind me asking, why is Ocarina of Time that expensive? And he went, well, the box is pretty minty. It's hard to fresh. It's hard to. It wasn't at all. It was like had banged up corners and everything. I hate people who say things are minty and they're not. They don't understand what mint means. Yeah. It's like it's off the mint, straight out of the press. Anyway, so he's got, it's pretty minty. It's hard to find. Blah blah blah. And I said, look, I don't want to be that guy, but I just came back from Japan and you can get that over there for an equivalent of about $15. And he went, well, looks like I got done on that one then, didn't I? We can see on the screen now. Do you see his big cheesy grin face when he gets to BFG?
The bazooka.
Yes. What's the BFG? That's Doom.
Doom.
Yeah. So, yeah, I chatted to him for a while and he just goes, yeah, blah, blah. Anyway, do you want that? And I said, yeah, how much? And he goes, $30. Okay. So that's where I'm a bit like, I should go, it's an $80 game, but no, I'll take it for $30. That's fine. Thank you. But I didn't resell it. It's in my collection.
So you deflated this man's ego.
So much. Let him know that he got ripped off by someone and then ripped him off.
I like how every time we do a section on not getting ripped off or not doing things, Ben comes up with a story where he's done all those things.
Well, I also said do your research and know what it's worth.
That is fair.
Correct.
That's
He
fair.
Clearly didn't.
So essentially you taught him a lesson.
No, I got a real cheap game.
All right, Ben, 1993. It's you.
It's Doom!
It is Doom.
Doom! Look, I'm going to be controversial here. And again, I understand that this is purely nostalgia. I think Wolfenstein 3D is better than Doom.
What?
Purely
Is
from
it 'cause
nostalgia.
the setting?
No, it's purely nostalgia. It would be
Okay.
the setting as well. I understand Doom is a better game. It's better designed. It moves better.
Well, it's the same guys.
Yes, I completely understand. It's also, what's the relationship? It's
Anyway.
BJ Blazkowicz.
I think that was made up later.
No, but they confirmed it.
Yeah, like they confirmed
Commander
it.
Keen is the great-grandson... No, so Doom Guy is the great-grandson of Commander Keen, who was the grandson of BJ Blazkowicz. Yeah.
So when they made...
Hey, that Commander Keen game never came out.
So when Wolfenstein was made, the only game they'd made was Commander Keen.
Yeah.
And then they made Wolfenstein. And then they went and made Doom. Like, these guys were going from level and strength to strength and strength.
It was Romero, wasn't it?
Yeah.
He is a character. Good old Romero.
Yeah, they went from strength to strength, and then they made Daikatana.
Yeah, well,
But also, controversial opinion, I think Quake is better than Doom.
Oh, really?
Multiplayer? Yes.
No, even just single player, like speedrunning through levels doing rocket jumps, that stuff slaps.
About to say you're a rocket jump guy.
Incorrect.
Yeah, Doom. Highly influential. I still have a lot of my friends still play this to this day. I remember having LAN parties so we could all play multiplayer.
I bought it on the Switch and played it.
For those, same. For those of you who are young, LAN parties were before the internet, which is where you used to grab your 50-kilo PC tower and
In a milk crate?
$80 monitor, and you take it over to your friend's place on a Friday night, and you'd hook all your computers up via a local area network cable, and you would do things like spend 20 minutes ripping a single MP3 from one of your friend's computers to the other. Or spanning spanning it over like 10 3.5 megabit floppy disks.
3.5 inch floppy disk.
And then playing the original Grand Theft Auto or Doom as a part of a LAN party.
LAN party mean you are all joined together by cables.
Yep, correct. And not having any kind of sex. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Did you know that it is estimated that 10 to 20 million people have played this within 2 years of it coming out?
That's insane.
Fun fact
Shareware.
about Doom.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's the most ported video game ever made.
They keep putting it on everything. Like
got
I saw
on a
one
calculator.
This runs on like calculators, fridges.
Someone put it, I saw the other day, not only have they put it on a tractor screen, someone got it working on a pregnancy test.
That was Skyrim, and I don't believe that video is real.
Oh, really?
And the reason I don't is because there's a bunch of weird artifacting and weird, like... There's just weird video footage around the pregnancy test itself, and I think it's not real.
Well, I'd believe it.
I wouldn't believe that
if it was
one.
Doom.
If it was Doom, I would believe it. If Skyrim, no.
I'm pretty sure it was Doom.
Nah, I think I remember that secret passage.
Anyway, what a game.
What an absolute chocker of a game.
Next
All right,
one.
next one. 1994. We're moving away from the PC. Donkey Kong Country on the SNES.
I don't have this boxed. I've got the card.
And that's why we make this list, to find out what Ben has boxed and not.
Well, I'll be keeping this list and going through and go, yeah, I need to get that boxed.
So published by Rare, this is one of the best reboots of a franchise.
I'd say the best. Honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we'll go the best reboot of a franchise. So up until now, Donkey Kong was a bad guy.
Yeah.
He was a bad guy.
Yep.
He would
Checks out.
throw barrels and stuff at you.
Yep.
That old Jumpman. And now we get to play Donkey Kong as a cool guy, as a good guy.
Man, who's playing this? They know their stuff.
So you get to traverse 40 side-scrolling levels, collecting items, riding minecarts, other animals, defeating enemies, and finding bonus stages to reach King K. Rool. This brought 3D graphics to the SNES, revitalizing this system weeks before the PS1 launch. It transitioned Donkey Kong from villain to hero, as we've said, and inspired an animated TV show, which I didn't know about.
Oh, have you seen that?
Nah, I bet it was bad.
terrifying.
Oh,
it
it is
bad.
so bad. Like nightmare fuel.
Yeah, and so many of these 90s games did do that, didn't they? They tried to latch onto every part of the market.
Yeah. But still, what a game. Like, I one of my lasting memories I have of my grandmother was that she saw this and was legitimately blown away at the technology of the game, because obviously she grew up
With stick and ball.
yeah, exactly.
Whipstick.
She's used to Pong and Pac-Man, and she just sat there going, I can't believe how real it looks. I just can't believe, I cannot believe this. And I was just playing it on the TV. God, I imagine if she was still here today.
Playing it on his calculator.
On my pregnancy test. I can just imagine if she was still here today and was able to see how far games have come. And that kind of gets me a little sad that, can you imagine the gaming technologies that are going to be here 20 years after we've gone?
Well, I don't think it's going to be quite the leap that we saw in the 80s and 90s.
Or just be a chip that goes in the head.
Far.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yes. All right, wait, before we get to... So next one is Ben's.
Yep.
He hasn't... No, I'll stress again. He hasn't seen this list.
No.
We're up to 1995. Have a guess.
1995.
Yeah. Have you looked? You haven't looked.
I haven't looked yet.
Okay.
1995.
We're going to say God of War?
Oh, damn it. I told him it wasn't in my list.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Man, what are you doing?
I forgot.
Okay, I want to see now. It is. I knew it! I fucking believed you as well, you piece of...
I didn't know, legitimately.
It's Chrono fucking Trigger.
His favourite game of all time.
One of.
One of. his
But
favourite
yeah,
games of all
Chrono
time.
Trigger. All right. If you're a new listener to Hack the Dino Gaming Cast, go play Chrono Trigger. This game is amazing. This game is... I've never been hooked to a game so badly. I was actually playing this the other day on my DS. I just had a hankering for it, and I'm up to the Black Omen. And this game, for a 16-bit game, to love the characters as much as you do, I'm sure Anto can understand where I'm coming from. That, like, the writing that went into these characters and the way that they were portrayed on screen and the adventure you go on, you actually feel a kinship with them. I floppy takeover, because this game is freaking amazing.
Okay, so obviously, if you're not aware, developed for the SNES, developed by Square, and included their Dream Team. Now, can you say the names, because I'm going to butcher them?
Yes, Hironobu Sakaguchi, creator of Square's Final Fantasy, Yuji Horii, creator of NX's Dragon Quest, and Akira Toriyama, who you might know as the creator of something called Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z.
You take people that created those iconic things and put them together to create another iconic thing, and it's going to be a guaranteed hit, isn't it? It's
Absolutely.
going to be amazing.
What's even better is the not the DS version. They re-released it as a pack-in. So it came out on the Super Nintendo originally. Then on the PlayStation 1, they re-released it with Final Fantasy...
7?
It was 6, wasn't it?
6?
6 or
It
8?
come out with one of the
No,
Pixel
8 was
games, so it
99.
would have been 6, I think.
6. But what they did is they added in fully animated cutscenes by Akira Toriyama. And I remember I made the joke earlier about spending half an hour downloading like a 1 minute video
you did
clip.
it for those cutscenes, didn't
All
you?
those cutscenes. And I would sit there just watching them over and over again. Like Kairu, Glenn in this game. One of my favorite characters ever. I even based a short story I wrote on him and called him Kairu, but instead of a knight, he was a samurai.
Nice.
This game, I've told this story, but I'll tell it again. This was the first RPG I ever played. I never knew how to play an RPG.
Oh, this is great.
And I never knew what you had to do in an RPG. So I didn't know you could upgrade weapons. I didn't know you could upgrade armor. I completed the game without upgrading anything.
How did you not rage quit?
I just loved the game and I wanted to play it so much. The final battle with Lavos, I still remember sitting in my room on a Sunday morning. It took me 3.5 hours to defeat Lavos because I just had Kairu and Mal spamming heals and Chrono just doing his lightning and then sneaking in an ether in order to top up his lightning afterwards. I finished this game with base weapons because I was an idiot.
I just want to throw out that this is the one game in Ben's collection that he owns more versions of than I do Final Fantasy VII.
Not really.
Yeah, your Chrono Trigger shelf is bigger than my FF7 collection.
But that Chrono Trigger shelf is also the Metal Gear shelf, so...
No, but like the little Chrono Trigger section, you have more copies of this game than I currently do physical copies of 7.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's crazy. I still don't own the actual cart. So the cart for this game, I've again spoken about on the show, and I'm going to buy it one day.
Just do it. Pull the trigger. Pull the Band-Aid off.
Well, I need to find one first.
Do it.
But yeah, they're going for about $700 to $1,200 at the moment.
Okay, yeah, maybe don't do that.
Yeah,
just do it.
So I think I need to talk to some of the US members in our Discord and see if I can organise someone to sort of source one and
Make
fly
friends,
it over to
mate. Make friends.
Well, we've got
and-
Dust Veilbeard over there,
Dust
who I
Veilbeard.
need to talk to, and maybe they can hook me up with a Chrono Trigger if I can throw some money their way and send it on over. Yeah, man, what a game! If
Yeah.
you haven't played it, I was actually having a chat to one of my work colleagues at RCW the other night, and they had never played Chrono Trigger before, never even heard of it. So they copped that speech just then.
That would have been an intense moment.
Oh yeah, he goes, "All right, man, I'll play it," and I just ended up yelling at him to effing do it.
You're like, dude, okay, my bus is here. I don't know who you are. Far out.
Oh, all right, next
So
game.
that was 1995 Game of the Year. 1996 Game of the Year. Now, for some
Easy.
reason, I didn't get a video for this one.
Already on it.
This one,
Thank
I know.
you. What is it? What have you got there?
Ba-dum-bum, ba-dum,
You reckon?
bum.
So,
Yep.
yeah, Super Mario 64. From the Nintendo 64, the first Mario game to have 3D gameplay. You collected Power Stars in an open-world adventure to unlock parts of Princess Peach's castle to defeat Bowser and rescue Princess Peach. Is included in the Smithsonian American Art Museum's Art of Video Games exhibit.
This
Exhibit?
is almost as groundbreaking a game, groundbreaking,
Ground baking.
as the original
Cake
Super Mario
in
Brothers.
oven.
Like
Yeah.
this is the first game to be third person.
Yep.
This was the first game to use a camera in that
To
way.
have camera control, wasn't
Camera
it?
control,
Yeah, they
yep.
developed the whole camera control thing.
Yep, very first one. So every single game that has come after this in
Can
a third
thank
person,
this.
you can thank Super Mario 64 for.
I only
Also-
played this year for the first time.
First game with Fish AI.
Fish AI.
Fish AI?
Yeah, they move out of the way if you swim through them.
Oh, I didn't know that.
That's amazing.
That's a cool
I
little.
remember there was a big hoo-ha when Call of Duty Ghosts was announced. And they were like, we've got such advanced AI, even the fish move out of the way. And people were like, Mario 64 did this 20 years ago.
Yeah, what I love most about this is the way Mario moves. He's like a bouncy ball. Funnily enough, some of our Americans may not know, but there is a comedian over here called Tony Martin.
Never heard of him.
You've heard of Tony Martin, haven't you,
Of course
Floppy?
I have.
So Tony Martin is a hilarious comedian. He wrote a couple of films, was part of The Late Show back in the early 90s.
Oh, yes.
When I was working in radio, I got the opportunity to interview him with
Oh,
my
really?
co-host. Yeah, went to a hotel
Wow.
room and sat down and interviewed him. And we had half an hour allotted to us and spent 20 minutes of it just talking about how good Super Mario 64 is. And then we had to talk about your movie. That interview almost made it as a special feature on the movie DVD, but they had to cut it for space because he just liked talking to us about Mario 64. It was great.
Oh, what a cool guy.
Yeah, great game. My goodness.
All right, so 1997, Ben, is up to you.
1997. Now, I believe we had a discussion before the show.
Correct.
And I believe Anto corrected me in that the game of the year for 1997 was Final Fantasy VII. Let's just see if I'm correct.
What? No, I didn't correct you. I just suggested it should have been 7.
He's wrong. It's GoldenEye. GoldenEye 007 is the game of the year. 1997 beat all other games that came out that year. All other games were probably trash compared to GoldenEye. Anto, tell us about GoldenEye and why it's better than any other game that came out in 1997.
It's as problematic now as it was then.
Correct, but it's James Bond, so you accept that when you plug it in.
What?
James Bond excuses everything.
Yeah, I didn't play GoldenEye till like a couple of years after it came out on
Ugh.
N64. So I
Ouch.
was playing it after, the PS2 had arrived. So I wasn't super blown away by it, but after getting to actually put some time into it, I can see why it was so important when it came out.
I used to play this almost every day after school in multiplayer with one of my friends. We'd come home from school,
Yep.
sit down, play a couple of multiplayer games.
No Odd Job.
I was Odd Job.
Golden Gun, no Odd Job.
No. So we did one-shot kills.
Karate chops only?
We used to do that. And if you're Odd Job with karate chops only, they chop over your head. It's great.
I saw somewhere a replica watch that he wears.
Yeah, they got them on Etsy.
So good.
One of the devs actually came out and said, yeah, if you use Odd Job, you're cheating. Oh, that checks out.
It's like playing as the monkey in Time Splitters. He's too short.
Yeah. Well, if you know your abilities, you should take an advantage where you can.
This is the third best-selling 64 game ever.
Isn't that crazy?
It was such a good time. Like, everyone that had a 64, I didn't have one, but I had plenty of friends that had one. Every single friend had this game, and everyone could play it. Like, it's one of those, you never found a person that didn't know how to play GoldenEye.
Yep.
And you would all sit around and you'd all play it, and you'd have a rotating roster. You'd have 6 people waiting, and it was my turn. Is it my turn? Is it my turn?
Mm-hmm.
It was so good.
So we used to turn the radars off as well.
No, I never did that.
So you could unlock a whole heap of different cheats. Like you had decade mode, paintball mode. We used to
Big
write
head mode.
messages. That's what decade mode was.
Yep.
We used to write messages on the wall in paint.
Oh,
My favorite thing though is because I'm a real toxic person. Is in the facility. I knew where all the spawn points were.
Oh, yeah.
So you play
Remote mines?
mines, and you just plant them all in the spawn points. So you get a kill, boom, ba-da, ba-da, bang. It's respawn, bum, ba-da, ba-da, bang. Respawn, ba-da, ba-da, bum. Respawn.
and that's how all his controllers got broken.
Yeah, it was a great time.
That's when people used to say, Ben, you're not allowed to play anymore.
I will go out on a limb. Like, I also actually played the campaign
Same.
and loved it.
Yep.
Because I got to play as James Bond in a movie that I had just seen.
And then you could do so much other stuff as well. Like I remember just going to that one where you have to save Natalia from the space station or whatever it is. And like if Natalia gets shot, you fail the mission. So then I just go around killing everyone and then just blow up the place. Like you could shoot down the screens off the roof and they'd fall and blow up. And it was really interactive in a way that first-person shooters hadn't been before then.
Yeah.
You could blow up crates and ammo would be in there.
The amount of weapons that you had on there, and they were all different. So they actually felt differently and behaved differently, and different fire rates, different amounts of recoil. It was really cool.
And there was like you had throwing knives as one.
Yep.
You could use throwing knives. Oh man, what a great game! Don't play it now though. This is a
it
game
is-
that lives on in nostalgia only.
If you haven't played it, just watch videos.
Yeah, don't play it.
Don't try it.
Don't play
You'll
it.
be like, what are they even
I
talking
will
about?
throw out that even to this day, even if you don't play it just for any other reason but to do this, you should absolutely load this up, empty a weapon, and reload, because the reload animation and sound is still super satisfying.
All right, next game, 1998. Is it mine or yours?
I
haven't
think
looked yet.
I can't remember. Do you
right.
want to go? You go.
All right, here we go. 1998. I don't know what it is. Should I try and guess what it is?
Have a guess.
All right, that
What's that?
Yeah,
Ocarina of
it's
Time.
that.
Let's see if I'm right. Is it Ocarina of Time? It's Ocarina of Time. Of course it is. I knew that one. Ocarina of Time, revamp of the series. Basically, A Link to the Past.
No. Link to the Past is still better.
Oh, go away.
I forgot that you hate this.
I don't hate Ocarina of Time. I want to stress that. I don't hate it. It is just overrated, and it is aged so badly.
When was the last time you played it?
I'm currently playing it, so we'll see what I think after I finish.
3DS version a couple of years ago?
Yeah. Look, me personally, I like Majora's Mask better
Same.
because it was just a real fun warp of this world. But I think Ocarina of Time, besides Super Mario Brothers, is the game I spent most hours playing. Just that complete open area, like that main world, the amount of secrets, just going around trying to find things. I wonder if I can get up there. I wonder if I can get through here. Completing it, the real sense of adventure you had while playing it. The story this was the first time we had the goddesses and the Triforce. In fact, this is the first time we had the Triforce, I believe.
Nope.
No, Link to the Past was Triforce, wasn't it? Because up until then, there was only 2 pieces.
Two pizzas?
There
was only two
there
pizzas?
were 3 pieces, but you only ever got to deal with 2 of them.
Really?
In the first and second ones, the first one had you collecting pieces of the Triforce of Wisdom.
Yep.
The second one, same deal.
Yep.
To wake up Zelda.
Yep.
Link to the Past, you get the Triforce at the very end.
Yep.
And then this one was the next time they dealt with it and introduced
Pharaoh and all the goddesses and
the
lore.
goddess and
Would you
the
like to
actual
go
lore
through-
behind it.
Why the legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time is the game of the year from 1998. though.
Okay, I shall read exactly what Floppy has written
Please
here.
don't read exactly what I wrote because I wrote it.
Often regarded as one of the greatest games of all time, Ocarina of Time introduced features such as target lock. That's correct. Context-sensitive buttons and the ability to play different songs on the Ocarina.
That is cool. I didn't know you could do that until I started playing on my lunch break.
Really?
Yeah, and I got the Ocarina, and then I'm like, I can press the buttons and make music. This is amazing. It's the most musical I've ever been.
If you press a button and hold down on the joystick, it plays a different pitch.
Mind blown. Most musical I've ever been.
Over 1 million copies were sold in the first week, and it was the best-selling game of 1998. Now, over here in Australia, we got gold versions. The cart's gold, everything's gold. We didn't get the silver or the normal grey version.
Wouldn't you want the gold one? It just seems to the other Zelda carts are gold, yeah?
Yeah. So I've got both of them. I've got a normal silver cart. The only one I don't have is the UK one, which had a different label. It had a black and gold label over in the UK.
Weird.
So I'm on the hunt for that one. I know someone who's got it, but they won't sell it to me because they're bastards.
All right. Last one for the year. Don't look. Don't move around.
All right.
So 1999. Now 1999 was a pretty big turning point for games in general. We're coming up to the turn of the millennium. We're about to get into things like PS2s are not far away. All that sort of jazz is happening. Technology is about to make a massive jump. Well, there is a lot of games that were released in 1999 that were amazing. I did not realize how many.
Come on, Floppy.
To name a few.
You keep me waiting, huh?
Unreal Tournament, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, Gran Turismo 2, EverQuest, Final Fantasy 8, Siphon Filter, Silent Hill, Driver, Donkey Kong 64,
Trash.
Resident Evil 3, Command & Conquer Tiberian Sun, Pokemon Snap, Shenmue, Chrono Cross, Legend of Dragoon, Metal Gear Solid. All of these released in 1999. Like, how the hell do you decide what to play?
I just want to throw one more out there.
This one.
Go.
You won't agree that it's Game of the Year contender, but it's important because of what it did for the industry.
Okay.
Sonic Adventure.
Sonic Adventure. Also in 1999 for some reason.
Gee, Sonic Adventure or Metal Gear Solid? What shall I play?
Having said that, none of those games I picked as Game of the Year. Even though Metal Gear is my favourite game of all time.
What
It
is
is
wrong
my
with
favourite
you?
game of all time.
You
But
didn't pick Metal Gear.
It's a rather niche game. There is a game that came
niche
out.
game?
Put it down and shut up.
Hang on, let me find the original ad for it.
There is a
Hold
game
for
that
10
came out
seconds.
in 1999 that I think has had a much bigger impact. And you know how much of a fan I am of Metal Gear.
Yeah, that's
So
what
I'm saying I'm doing this not from a personal point of view, but from a bigger picture.
But you said it was your list.
It is my list, but this
Sad.
had to be done. Are we ready?
We're ready.
1999,
Should I have a look?
Nintendo 64,
Oh, you've
Super
already done
Smash
it.
Brothers.
I love this ad. This is the best ad ever.
I didn't realize this came out in 99 until I started doing this research.
Really?
Nah. So this is created by Sakurai. Sakurai, who has directed every game in the series, every single game, as Ben mentioned before for the last one. Hooked himself up to an IV because he's crazy, man. And not a good role model. Don't do that, children. It took old gameplay of depleting health bar from fighting games, replaced it with an increasing damage bar, the ability to knock people off the edge of a stage, released with 12 playable characters, spawned one of the largest competitive tournament scenes ever. Like, that thing started in 1999. I don't know how that's not Game of the Year.
Yeah, look, speaking as the Nintendo fanboy, I still think Metal Gear. But this is also very important. I've got this boxed over there. Yeah, not Metal Gear.
Metal Gear.
I was talking about Metal Gear. Metal Gear. No, Smash Brothers was amazing. Like many of the franchise games, I think the Ultimate version didn't come until a couple down the track. I think Brawl on the GameCube is the best version of this game.
I think it's highly regarded as the best one, isn't it?
Brawl was on the Wii.
Okay, what was the one
Melee.
I'm thinking? Melee. The GameCube one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Completely underrated system. But yeah, this game, fantastic. And the best part is that they're all toys. That's how they got around, like, killing each other.
Yeah.
That they're all figures and toys.
I
I remember
bit Toy Story.
Pikachu in this game, I think, was one of the first 64 representations of him as well, where you could actually play as Pikachu. Obviously, there was Pokemon Snap,
But you weren't playing as Pikachu.
but you weren't playing as
Yeah,
Pikachu.
okay,
You were just
gotcha.
taking photos. Pokemon Stadium, I don't think it'd come out at this stage.
No, okay.
Maybe it had.
I think Stadium came out before Snap.
Possibly, yes. Anyway,
Can't remember.
yeah, what a game. What a genius concept, one that still lives on today. And unfortunately, I think the series is done. Like, unless Sakurai decides to do it again. But how are you going to top Ultimate?
I think moving forwards with this series, it's not going to be a case of like how do you top Ultimate. It's going to be a refinement or different characters. So we'll either see like endless ports of Ultimate with maybe a new character here and there if they can get Sakurai to do it, or he'll make a new one based around newer Nintendo IP.
Or he'll just go, I'm
Or he'll
done.
say, no, I'm done.
And Nintendo will go, yeah, okay.
Was
fair
this
enough.
the first time that any game like this had been made?
With this way,
Like
so
this way
increasing
with
damage.
it,
Yep.
no, not just with the increased damage, but I mean having all the different IPs in the one game, a battle system, it being PvP.
Might be, actually.
I think in terms of it being like a sort of free-for-all Royal Rumble kind of style thing,
Yeah,
absolutely was like the first of its kind.
like obviously
could
it had
argue that-
fighting games.
Yeah, you could argue that Marvel vs. Capcom and other stuff had done it as well, but different style of game, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
but there you go. That's my Game of the Year through the decades 90s edition, culminating with Super Smash Brothers, beginning of a heck of an era.
Man, the 90s.
90s had
Holy
amazing
crap.
games, man, and Nintendo nailed the crap out of most of it,
Yep. And then came the GameCube.
which I don't understand why.
That's a great system.
It's such a good system.
Well, that's why they're in high demand now, because it was such a low-selling system, but had such a fantastic library. Like Melee, for example, we just spoke about. Mario Sunshine, I don't care if it was an unfinished game. It's still great. Luigi's Mansion, which I don't own. You do.
I do.
Again, another great game.
Resident Evil 4.
Well, the original Resident Evil was on there.
It was. The director's cut.
Yeah, director's cut of Resident Evil, and that's beautiful. Even to this day, you look at it.
Metro
And-
Prime,
Metroid
Metro
Prime.
Prime 2,
Yep.
Metal Gear Solid, Twin Snakes,
Yep.
Tales of Symphonia,
Crazy Taxi.
Beautiful Joe, Crazy Taxi, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, the best version of that game.
X-Men Next Dimension. Oh, wait.
So many more. Like the GameCube is super duper 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 duper
Best-
underrated.
Best way to play Spider-Man 2.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, I played the hell out of it. I played it so much. I can't remember if it was Spider-Man 1 or Spider-Man 2, but if you 100% it, you get to play as the Green Goblin.
Spider-Man 1, Floppy
Gob
picked up
blum
the other day.
Goblin.
Goblin, goblin.
I did get it the other day. I found it at
Savers.
Savers.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
For the
20
GameCube?
bucks.
Good score. Well done. How much?
$20.
Yeah, 20 bucks.
It was totally worth paying $20 for.
Yeah, well, it's a good game.
It's not
Number
a
two.
bargain, but it's not overpriced either.
Number 2 is amazing.
Yes.
But yeah, plays the Green Goblin at the end.
listen to him. $20.
It's savers. They're greedy.
Should have bought it for $5 and then sold it for $1,000.
I don't resell. Mostly.
I don't resell.
I think what you meant to say is often.
Hey, Floppy,
Yes, mate.
you got any deals?
Nope.
Cool. Let's. You're ready for quiz?
Yeah, we're ready for quiz.
Are we really doing that?
You're ready for quiz?
Quiz on your face was better.
Okay. Well, it can be either. It is time to quiz on your face, where I have 4 questions, 4 multiple choice questions with 4 answers for each question. 2 by me, 2 by some of our high-end tier Patreons. I will ask these chaps the question, give them the 4 possible answers, and they will yell out their name when they think they know it. If they get it right, they get a point. If they get it wrong, they don't get a point, and the other person gets a free shot. Okay, gentlemen, are we ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Just to recap the scores before we get going. Ben S. from Toy Power Podcast is on 1 point. Trent from Toy Power Podcast is on 2, as is Jazz. Braden is on 5. Anto's on 23. And Floppy is on 24.
So close, man.
So close. Okay, so this first one is from Michael Towns of Game Boy Games.
It's a long one.
Settle in.
Saddle up, boys.
Wait until I've gone through the entire 4 for this one, would be my
Okay.
recommendation.
Okay.
Okay, Michael Towns asks, in an iconic scene in Metal Gear Solid 2, Snake and Octagon share a handshake that uncannily resembles which of these? Is it A, a regular handshake, not everything has to be cool and flashy, guys? B, a similarly iconic scene from Escape from LA? C, the also similarly iconic Konami code? Or D, trying to play footsies in primary
Anto.
school with... No, wait! You get it first, Floppy, because I said
What?
wait. Trying to play footsies in primary school when you're crushed, but you with your crush, but you accidentally do it to your best friend who was sitting next to them instead, but you awkwardly roll with it, and these days you're in loving marriage with 3 wonderful children, and the eldest one's headed to uni next year to do her doctorate in medicine.
Okay.
Floppy?
First of all, I'd like to say I really wish it was D.
Yeah.
Was it the Konami code?
Yes, it was.
Sorry, Auntie, but I did know that as well.
And Anto needs to pay attention to instructions.
I'm multitasking, to be fair.
But to be fair...
So am I. I am trying to look good and
That's true.
get questions right.
And
at the same
Floppy has a
time.
much harder task than you do, Anto, so...
Oh, Dylan's giving me jip in the chat. I'm going to have to slap him next time.
Oh, you're threatening physical violence right there.
I'm not threatening
You-
physical violence. I would never do that, really.
Okay, we ready for question number 2? Question number 2.
Yes, question number 2, go.
Here we go. Which popular FPS began as a mod in Half-Life?
Anto,
Anto?
Counter-Strike.
Correct.
Oh, nice one. I didn't know
I just want to read out my other options. These were the other options for FPS. A, Wolfenstein. B, Counter-Strike. C, COD. Or D, 60.
60. I didn't know that. That's really cool.
All right, so Anto got that one?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, you did.
Oh, 24-25. Ooh-wee. Y'all ready for quiz?
Y'all ready for quiz?
Okay, this one's from Dylan the Villain.
Hey.
Now, Dylan asked me a question,
Mm-hmm.
and I sent a message back to him and said, that's a good question, but it's pretty general knowledge, and I'm sure the guys will get it. I can use it if you like. And he went, no, I'll get another one. Oh, I'm tricking.
Okay.
Dylan.
Okay, here we go. When Google created a playable Pac-Man game using Google Maps, how many hours of gameplay did it see from the internet? Was it A, 500,000 hours, B, 1 million hours, C, 5 million hours, or D, 10 million
Floppy.
hours? Floppy.
5 million hours?
Yes, correct. Oh, I love the evil laugh that you have when you fluke one.
When I fluke it. Can I say, that's how I win pool too. Like, I can't play, but I hit stuff and things go in. It's weird. I fluke everything.
All right, here we go.
No skill involved.
We ready for the last one?
Yep.
Pretty proud of this one. This was one I stumbled upon and I thought it was really, really cool. What was the last Game Boy game ever released outside of Japan? Was it A, Kirby's Pinball, B, Brain Drain, C, Turok, Battle of the Dinosaurs, or D, Pokemon Yellow?
I didn't hear the question. Can you repeat it?
Do you want him to go through all of the answers again?
I'll do it again.
No, I remember the answers.
I
I
don't.
don't know the question.
I was watching what you were typing.
Oh,
What was, What was the last Game Boy game ever released outside of Japan?
Right.
A. Kirby's Pinball. B. Brain Drain. C. Turok Battle of the
Floppy.
Dinosaurs. D. Pokemon Yellow. Floppy.
Kirby's Pinball.
Incorrect.
Ah, damn it.
And-
I
So,
threw that in
Pokemon
there as a
Yellow.
red herring
Yeah,
because
'cause
I
you
always
keep
got about Kirby being the console killer.
do.
Anto?
Was it Pokemon Yellow?
It was Pokemon Yellow. How about that?
What was the last game?
That was the last game released on the Game Boy outside
Yeah,
of Japan. Japan had a
wow.
couple of other ones that helped you with your Japanese grammar,
Yeah, wow.
but we don't really consider them to be
There you go.
those games. Incidentally, Turok Battle of the Dinosaurs was the second to last, and Brain Drain was the third to last, and Kirby was in there purely as a red herring. So, who got that? Anto?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Are we even, Stevens?
No, it's still 25-26.
Yeah, it's still the same. So Floppy on 26, Anto's on 25.
Remember when I started, I had a massive lead?
Yep.
I feel a little bit nervous now.
Well, I mean, you've missed a couple of shows, so Anto's been able to catch up on some and then not others.
True.
But we have been Hack the Dino. This has been our gaming cast, where we bring you the past, present, and future of gaming's news, previews, and other stuff like badminton.
Love me some badminton.
Game badminton. If you don't like badminton, that's okay. You're probably a bad mitt,
Person.
man.
Why have I gone pink again?
I don't know, but the podcast people, I'm sure, are really enjoying you saying that all throughout this episode.
It's only happened 3 times. It's fine.
Yeah.
You've only said it twice. too.
Yeah, no, he said it more. He said it more. I have a counter up on the podcast.
No, you don't.
I do. They just
You
can't
won't
see
have a
it.
counter on a podcast.
Just like they can't see every time Anto makes a visual comment, they can't see that I've put a counter up on the screen every time he comments about it. Speaking of commenting about things, Floppy,
Yes, mate.
what do you like to shill?
I don't know what that word means, but I'm assuming you mean talk about stuff.
Yeah, that's yep.
I like to go over to Instagram where you can look up Floppy Plays Games. Floppy Plays Games. Floppy Plays Games.
Floppy's lame name.
Floppy Plays Games.
Yep.
And I do post things that I have purchased that I have found along the way, some pickups, things that I'm playing. That's some of my latest ones. I did throw another picture in assets, but you can look at that in a minute. But yeah, I picked up some. So I played the Quarry, picked up that. On the left there, I picked up a quite rare 360 controller. That is a GameStop and EB Games exclusive, one of 2 controllers. It was called Radioactive because it has the biohazard symbol on it. And I'm a sucker for controllers. And the other thing I picked up there is a PS4 Play TV.
And isn't the Sony Play TV just a Vita?
It's a Vita TV.
It's
yeah.
a Vita TV, but
It's a VTV.
it's a Vita TV, so you can play all your Vita games on your TV. You can also mod the crap out of them.
Really? What can you get on there?
Everything.
Like
PS1,
movies?
but yes.
I'm pretty sure it's possible to load RetroArch onto there, so you can play any system ever released, including arcade games.
Yeah, because it has an SD card slot.
No, only games you have physical copies of. They're just backups.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought you meant.
Which I have no problem doing to consoles and things that are no longer being supported and no one's making money from them.
Correct.
Or the
I don't think
owner of
Sony
those
made a lot of
respective
money
IP.
from
from
the
anyway.
Vita either. Sorry,
But-
Anto, what you were saying before
I was just
cut
going to
over?
say, or the owner of the respective IP won't support them and put them onto their modern systems.
Correct. So that's a few of the things I'm doing. There's also a picture in assets that I just put up there of some recent purchases that didn't make it to Instagram this week because of reasons.
Because of reasons.
Yeah, me being
Oh, is
slack.
this the collection of things that have appeared in the last week?
I literally just put it up there about 20 seconds ago.
Cool. All right. Hang on. I'm going to have to download it because I can't zoom in on it. And it's
Podcast.
Podcast.
Adjective.
listeners.
You know what?
An audio
Screw it.
medium.
Sure. Here is some of the cool stuff that I added to my collection this week. I added a GameCube copy of Spider-Man.
Nice.
And then from a friend over there, Anto, I added a Metroid Prime,
Nice.
Vampire Hunter on the PS2, and a Game Boy Pocket.
So the Game Boy Pocket from Anto as well.
did.
Nice one.
And I'm going to rip it apart, Ben, and I'm going to put a cool screen in there and see what I can do with it. Because I promised you I wouldn't not do it to the other one. So I sourced another one to do it too.
You could do it to one that's broken or has screen burn at least.
I'm doing it to that one because it's the one I have.
You're an
And not the one that I got from you because out of respect.
absolute monster. Absolute
Correct.
monster.
I'm going to make it so I can see it.
You can see it. You just have to angle it like that and
Oh,
tilt your head.
You mean play like a caveman?
Yeah. Or get one of those magnifying glasses that you put on there. Clips
Or-
on with the light.
Put a better screen in it.
Anto, I don't want to talk to him anymore. What do you do?
Well, sometimes.
If I knew it only took that, I'd done it years ago.
Sometimes. Not recently, because I've just been... I don't know what I've been doing, actually. I've been working, and I haven't really sort of spent any time doing a whole lot of stuff for myself, video game-wise or social media-wise. But, as you probably all heard last fortnight, I do Instagram stuff. I do this, and I'm not going to steal Ben's joke this time, because every time I do, his soul dies a little bit.
I don't have a soul.
I do
Wishful
Final
thinking.
Fantasy stuff because it's my favorite series ever. Again, nothing new has sort of been added to this. My most recent purchase was the Advent Children PlayStation 3 that came out back in 2010 or 11, I think. Yeah, it's just a very pretty, very wonderful console, and I think it's my favorite thing ever.
It is a beautiful piece of kit.
It is. It's very nice.
Wonderful little
I
thing.
can't
But yeah,
believe how
that's what I
good
do.
condition the box is.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, the person I buy these systems from, just, I don't know, they come through every time.
I can't believe they got Gohan to pose for that cover.
Isn't it Goku?
No, Gohan's his son. He's clearly younger.
Okay.
Floppy. Len, you.
If I told you I don't watch Dragon Ball.
What I'm really miffed about is that no one's commented on the cinematography and how I managed to get that box out of the way without my arms or anything being in the way.
What, lifted it?
I didn't lift it. I didn't touch it.
Did you get someone else to do it?
Maybe.
That's not magic. That's just delegation.
You know what? Stop ruining my fun.
Speaking of ruining fun, I have a site
A habit of ruining fun.
called Bad Game Arts, where I produce some of the worst art that has ever been seen by human and animal eyes, from the 90s primarily. So we all know the art that popped up in the 90s on box arts and on magazines where they just got the intern to draw something because they
Yes.
were getting close to print day. Well, here we go. So first up, we've got Battle with the Beast.
Battle with the best.
Oh, is it?
Better with the best.
I have dyslexia.
For a game called Battle Blaze.
Battle Blaze. I
Wow.
completely misread when I put up.
Was that why you put it up there? Because you thought that's not a beast?
Yeah.
How many muscles has he got in his forearm?
Well, that's what I've put. But the comment you can see up there, the description is just me yelling veins. And then I wrote, also, imagine living a life, being killed by a steroid-dripping teeth monster, only to have your skull hanging over his groin for all time.
Oh, just being skull thinged.
Good time. Look at that art. Look at those quads.
How many abs has he got? And why do they go round to his back?
Because that's what abs do when you're really ripped.
Do they really?
Yep, 100%. I'll show you after.
On what? Another bad game art photo?
Yeah, correct. So if we go to the next one, Anto, over to the left.
Doing.
And we have, yes, Crash. So I've put this up because I make this joke all the time and I didn't realize it was an actual thing. He's surfing the web. We've got a surfer on a keyboard.
Is that what
surfing
that is?
A gnarly wave. The 90s were a wild time.
You know, I thought that was a barbecue.
I believe it's actually the console the game is on. It's the ZX Spectrum.
Really?
Yeah.
Anyway, it's cool. I like it. I
Still
don't
not a
care.
barbecue, is it?
Stupid anyway. He's not wearing pants. And last one is this one here that we can see. It's called Black Crystal, and that's not how light works, and also somewhat problematic.
A little bit.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit. So
Little
we'll
bit.
just leave that where it is. But if you'd like to see that, head on over to Instagram and go to Bad Game Arts. It's got an S on the end because Bad Game Art was already taken by someone who doesn't use that account. And also, I don't know if you've got it up there, Anto, but Mr. Benjamin is where I post stuff. I haven't had many pickups lately because I've been saving money and
that
spending it on
Chrono Trigger.
bills. Can you see what I mean about my follower account as well? If you just scroll up there, Anto, it's down to 993. It got up to 999 during the past week and it's dropped back down to 993. It's infuriating. I reckon someone's messing with me.
Yeah, I don't know who'd do that. I don't know anyone that you know that would create fake accounts, follow you, and then just not follow you.
So I got a couple of pickups there from Anto, Fire Emblem's Birthright. I've got WarioWare Do It Yourself on the DS and the WarioWare game for the GameCube, which was
Nice.
cool. Then I just posted some photos of giant Game Boys I saw in Japan. The boxed complete Game & Watch of Oil Panic that I got for $20 when I was in Japan last.
Nice.
Yeah, I know. There's another one of those things where I saw it on the shelf in the showcase and just kept coming back and going, that can't be the right price, can it? That's $20.
Did you not just ask?
Yeah, I did eventually. And they went, hey. And I went, okay.
Please.
Yeah, so hopefully, I'm thinking, so this is the last weekend of the Port Adelaide markets. I'm debating whether to go there or not because there is nothing there.
There is nothing there.
But I grew up, I got so much of my collection there when I was a teenager.
Which is why there's now nothing there.
Maybe what they're thinking you need to do, or what the reason there's been nothing there recently, is everyone's waiting for this big final last hurrah kind of thing.
No, it's not it at all.
No, they've all left.
It's pretty barren. But yeah, I will be going out game hunting a little bit more. We've got the Toy and Comic Fair coming up in October, which
We're all going to be there.
all be
gonna
there. So that'll be a fun time. And you should all come and say hello. We'll have the Hack the Dino table. Come buy our stuff. We will leave our own little genetic signature on there for you.
I'm looking into how people might be able to play Guitar Hero at our table. I'm going to see if I can figure it out.
It'd be really good if they don't stand in front of the table so people can't,
No,
not
we'll do
get
it off to the side. It's fine.
to the other stuff. Yeah, put it over near Game Boy Dad's table.
Yeah.
He'll
That's
love
pretty
that.
cool, though. Because it gets more people at your table, man.
Yeah, but they also hang around and don't buy shit.
No, they bring people. People see a crowd, they come over because it's cool.
No, they don't.
Don't think you know how selling stuff works.
I don't at all, because I don't sell stuff. I buy stuff. Anyway, we've been Hack the Dino. It's been our gaming cast. And remember, until next time we see you, you don't actually exist. Floppy?
Correct.
Anto?
Yeah,
Your iTunes needs updating.
it does.